When they opened the box, an awful stench wafted out, like it came from another planet. Gathering courage, they peeked inside to find a fish that was cut into a piece of art. Qianhua was stunned, turned to Daimai staring at the snow-covered TV as if talking to snowflakes. Qianhua felt like she could write a whole novel about Daimai. All the bizarre happenings in her room must be her doing. Daimai wanted the sisters to move out ASAP to avoid disturbing her honeymoon. Talk about selfish. What a tiring day. Her husband looked worried as the girls went to their room to conspire. Qianhua hugged Honglian, saying her room was weird too, like an endless horror movie. She assured her sister, "Don't be scared. Whatever happens, we're unstoppable. We've got this." But the next morning, as the sun filtered in, Qianhua suddenly woke up, sweating like she'd just dreamt of snowmen having her eyes darted to the bed corner, seeing a ghostly woman dragging her long hair, slowly moving to the door, like a model walk. At that moment, Qianhua felt a sudden jolt, as if she sensed a gaze on her. The lady suddenly turned her head, revealing a face that bore an uncanny resemblance to Qianhua. No wonder they called it ghostly twin. A terrifying scene unfolded. Blood flowed from the woman's legs, making Qianhua's heart race. Aunt Flo's visit was unexpected. Just then, a hand shot out from the woman's pants, shocking Qianhua to her core. It was so crazy it woke her right up. Qianhua thought, "This scene looks like those low-budget special effects from my hometown cinema. Great, now I've seen it all." She opened the curtains to welcome the sun, only to discover some suspicious blood on her finger. Time to call the cops for a grand investigation. Turning over, Qianhua discovered it was just her sister Honglian's friend visiting. Daimai spotted this and started laughing like she'd just won a prize. Your relatives all love specific day visits. Qianhua thought, utterly helpless. Quickly, the two sisters washed the sheets and prepped to bask in the sun, ready to enjoy a lovely day. Friendship from their childhood was something they cherished deeply. The laughter in the sun seemed to chase away all worries, pure magic. As the spring breeze blew by, Qianhua's whistling mixed with the birds' songs, creating an amazing symphony, simply perfect. After a while, her father appeared, interrupting her blissful moment. "Dear, what are you doing out in this cold?" Qianhua smiled, saying she was fine, but wanted to dispose of Honglian's wardrobe. Dad reminded her seriously, "Didn't we agree not to mention it?" Qianhua asked, "Is the wardrobe drama going to be on TV? Let's keep watching." Later, while walking alone, Qianhua stumbled upon an abandoned warehouse, and the furniture inside was weirder than her own room. She rummaged around and found a leather bag and a box. Upon opening it, she discovered old shoes of her mother and childhood photos, bursting with memories. As Qianhua gazed at the joyful moments of the past, tears streamed down her face, only to spot a grinning skull. It was Daimai's face. This feeling was too exhilarating, Qianhua thought. It feels like home has turned into a horror movie. Just then, her sister Honglian appeared, causing Qianhua's heart to race. It was bound to be yet another disaster. She grabbed Honglian's arm and asked, "Who did this?" Poor girl gathered her courage, but couldn't spill the true story. Qianhua shook her sister wildly, urgently asking, "Tell me, was it that weird old woman?" This situation was driving her nuts. Honglian pushed her sister away and bolted. Qianhua confronted Daimai, toxic hag. "Why treat her so harshly?" Daimai sneered in response, "This is just some tough love for disobedient kids. Don't you see the logic here?" Qianhua yelled, "How could you do that? Would your mom agree with this?" Daimai seized in your mom now, got it? In the only one who gets to call you my child. Her emotions spiraled out of control. Qianhua felt the pain of losing her mother for the first time, wanting to ask why. It was too daunting. But at that moment, a loud crash interrupted them as the food on the table was knocked over, shocking everyone. Dad hurried out to check the situation, but found that the two had vanished without a trace. Meanwhile, Qianhua was sobbing in the kitchen corner. Dad tried to comfort her, but it only irritated her more, prompting her to turn and leave. Dad asked seriously, "What on earth happened? Why all the noise?" Qianhua responded, "What good does it do to tell you? Will it change anything?" Their conversation turned cold, and they parted ways unhappily. See, what a pity. In the evening, Uncle and Aunt came over for dinner. 4 adults were present, yet the 2 girls hadn't shown up, raising eyebrows. Meanwhile, Daimai was unusually excited, chatting away like a child, sharing funny stories from her childhood that made her giggle. Suddenly, Uncle interjected, What on earth are you talking about? And the atmosphere turned awkward instantly. Just then, Aunt began to cough violently, her body convulsing severely, evoking an involuntary sense of fear. She glanced beneath the kitchen, seeing something terrifying. Everyone was tense, awaiting the outcome. At that moment, everyone held their breath as Uncle quickly took out some medicine and placed it in her mouth, expecting the worst. However, Aunt's struggle intensified. Her scream shattered the silence, causing unease. Getting done. Get me out of here, Uncle exclaimed, abruptly leaving the table. On the way, Aunt told Uncle she saw a blood-soaked woman under the cupboard, sending chills up their spines.